Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're getting a shipping container. So because of you and all of your support, we're actually growing out of the 20 by 30 shop slash warehouse that we work out of, that we ship all of our arosswelding and industrial tradition products out of. So we need some more covered space. So first of all, thank you. We're super thankful for all of your support. Not only are we getting a shipping container, but I'm also going to be making an 8-inch therapy weld, if you will. You're probably asking, Austin, what is a therapy weld? Well, stick around. We'll talk more about that later in the video. Before we head to where the shipping container is, I did want to remind you that enrollment for the pipe fence course is still open, but only for 3 more days. If you're watching this whenever this video is published, it's open until Monday, December 6th at midnight. But because of the holiday season, we've actually still got a few gift bundles left. If you didn't see last week's video, we actually put together some gift bundles. So it's got a seat to the pipe fence course. There's 4 different bundles that we put together, and they all include more than just the pipe fence course. They include some limited products, stuff that we don't even carry in the Aross Welding store. They include, at minimum, a sticker pack that goes with the course. We put those together for the holiday season. You don't have to buy them as a gift. You can buy them for yourself. But that's why we put them together, was in case somebody did want to buy it as a gift. All that to say, there's just a few gift bundles left. You can either go to the trade school website, arosswelding.school, and check out just the pipe fence course, or you can go to arosswelding.com/shop and check out a gift bundle, a pipe fence gift bundle. So enrollment to just the pipe fence course, if you don't want anything else, no sticker bundle, no nothing else, it ends December 6th, but even after December 6th, if there's gift bundles still left, we're gonna leave them up until they're gone. Also, real quick, whatever you order from the Aross Welding store, if you are needing to get it before Christmas or as a Christmas gift, and so therefore you want it there before Christmas, try to order it before December 12th or by December 12th. This should give us plenty of time to get it shipped out and to you by Christmas, depending on where you're at and depending on what happens. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Last year, the holiday season was a mess, so we don't want to guarantee a date, but that is our tentatively last order date if you want to get it by Christmas. So don't be like me and wait till the last minute to order Christmas gifts. Today, I'm headed to get some railroad ties for the container that we need because we're packed full in the Aross Welding / Industrial Tradition store. The old steel yard, come on. Hello. And the old cracked windshield. I'm actually in Kayla's truck just because there was no need to drive mine. Anyway, we're here at the steel yard and I'm gonna pick up some railroad ties for the container, like I said, but I'm also gonna get some pipe for a short 200 foot of pony wire, 5-wire pony wire. I've already got the pony wire, but I need to get some 4-inch pipe for the braces, just 2 braces. So I'm gonna get some material for a project while I'm here. I'm not picking up the container today. We are actually getting the container delivered tomorrow, but I believe this maroon container right here is the one that we're getting. It's actually pretty exciting. We meant to get a container 2 or 3 months ago, back before they were this expensive, but it's still worth it to us. We've had a lot of conversations on whether to get a building in town or not, because we need more space. Between the Aross Welding store, the Industrial Tradition, the YouTube videos, all the products, and the beef program that we have going on, we see a lot of benefit in having at least just the advertising in town. So that is probably down the line somewhere, if not in town, at least a bigger building somewhere on our property or the farm's property or a totally new property or something. All I'm saying is the shipping container is definitely a get us by thing. Not that we couldn't maybe go on for another year just with this shipping container, but I'm just saying, we do have plans, or we've thought a lot about a bigger building. So, but shipping container works good for kind of the in-between. So it's exciting, super exciting to feel like we're not being covered up in that little bitty shop. Now we're fixing to load the pipe and the railroad ties, and then I'm gonna go over there and check out the container just to look at it, because we haven't even looked at it. 20 foot tall. I believe it's 8 foot by 8 foot tall. They make some of these that are 9 foot tall, but anyway, yeah, we just got your standard 8 by 8 by 20. It ought to work. There you have it. Should be arriving at the house tomorrow. All right, we've made it back home. I am clearing a spot over here. We think this right here is where the container needs to live, seeing as how we're kind of limited around here. Camper's kind of in a handy spot for a container. Then again, it's not, because there's a line that runs from the bathroom in our building to out here for our septic. So I don't know, I mean, it's kind of good, it's kind of not, but I mean, then where would we put the camper? So, and then we got junk in between two buildings. So we just decided, for time's sake and whatnot, we're just gonna set it right here behind me. So I gotta move these guys. These are some old feeders that I've started to cut up, but I need to finish cutting them up, throw them in the scrap bin. You can kind of see here where there's no grass, it's where the cargo trailer normally lives. And it might still be able to, because there's you know, 8 foot between where the cargo trailer is and like this building. But so yeah, that's what we're thinking for now. Throw some railroad ties down. Hopefully they can somehow get it on the railroad ties. I really don't know. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. But I'm gonna come over here and finish cutting these up and throw them in my scrap bin, and should pretty well get us ready for the container. So after I'm done with that, I'm probably going to, I've got this crazy crave to weld some pipe. So I haven't got that crave in a while. I've been kind of vulnerable here. I've been kind of in the dumps lately, got a lot of things going on, and I haven't been just like real motivated. So I'm a little bit more motivated today, and I literally was just piddling in my shop. I was actually welding on them triangles. If you've been following along, you know about the triangles that I made out of that square tubing. Anyway, I had never finished welding them. They've got some big gaps here and there, and I started welding them, and then I got this sudden urge, like, I want to weld some pipe. I don't want to be running this squirt gun. So I just rolled my MIG machine back up and fired my pickup up. It hadn't been started in a few days, so fired it up, went and watered the calves, knew I needed to do this, and then now I'm gonna cut me up some 8-inch pipe. It's not very thick pipe. It's only like, I don't know, 3/16 or something, which would be 188 wall. But I'm gonna put some bevels on them, and I just have some pups laying around, and I'm gonna fit some up and I'm gonna weld it. I just feel like doing it, and it's one of them things. I haven't talked about it much on my channel, but if those of you that have pipelined, maybe for like a fair amount of time, as far as being a pipeline welder, well, probably pipelining in general, but from my experience being a pipeline welder, once you've done it, and I don't know, maybe you've always wanted to do it, or you were always passionate about it. I'm speaking from like my personal experience. I was super passionate about it, still am passionate about it. Always wanted to do it, and it just, long story short, once you've done it, it gets in your blood. You get what they call like pipeline fever, and it's a thing. It's a real thing. It might sound kind of corny to some of you watching. You don't have any idea, but it's a thing. And I think you know, I've been kind of, I guess you could say, low mentally lately, and now all of a sudden I got this itch, and I like have to scratch it. Some might say it's therapeutic, and I would agree with that. That's what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling like I just haven't been fulfilled in doing the other stuff in other parts of our business. You know, packaging orders. Like, I love our store, but it's not very labor intensive. It's not very challenging, and I don't mean that in a rude way, but I just mean like, that's not the kind of work I'm used to. I love pipe welding because it's challenging, and it's constantly challenging, and there's always room for improvement. And that's the case with anything, but when you're passionate about something, it makes it even more fulfilling to try to get to the next level, to try to get better, yada yada, as to where I enjoy the store and I'm thankful for, you know, everything that goes on in the Aros Welding and Industrial Nutrition store, like it, because it's a leg of our businesses. So I thoroughly I like it, but my passion, what I love to do, is weld pipe. I don't know how else to say it. Like, it's something that I fell in love with a long time ago, and I just thoroughly enjoy doing it. So I'm gonna scratch that itch, is what I'm saying. I'm gonna make me a 8-inch 188 wall weld, because I have not made a weld on a piece of pipe, like fence of course, but like as far as putting bevels on a piece of pipe, like a pipeline weld, I haven't made one of them in, well, probably about a year roughly, whenever I made that weld on the first 8-inch entryway that y'all saw. If you haven't, go check out that video. We'll put a link in the description. So yeah, I want to make me a weld. Dagnabbit, had to go feed cows, ran out of daylight, so I didn't get to make that 8-inch weld that I was so needing and craving to make that day. So the next day we got our shipping container. That was super exciting, had it delivered. And then a couple days later, I think I had to wait a whole day before I could make my 8-inch weld. So now we're fixing to make the 8-inch weld and see what this thing looks like. All right, so for my bead, I used 1/8 6011. This is not a common like pipeline rod. It's the same type of rod. It's considered a cellulose rod, but I didn't have any 6010. I only had 6011 because I haven't been on a pipeline job in a long time. But anyway, that's what I used for my bead, is 1/8 6011. And then for the hot pass, which is the second pass, I used 532 8010, so just a little bit bigger of a rod in diameter, and it's 8010, and this is a common pipeline welding rod. I actually still buy it for my fence work. So that's what I used for my hot pass. As you can see here, it was a little bit low. I could have put another pass at least here on the side, but I decided to go ahead and cap it. So I put a hot pass in with 532 8010, and then I also capped it with 532 8010. And since it was a little bit low, I just turned it down a little bit, and I just moved a little bit slower to try to help fill that up while I was capping it. My bead was also a little bit rough. It's been a while. Looks rough in there. Not that I've always been real slick putting in a bead, but I can definitely tell it's a little bit rough, as well with my cap, but it was still so satisfying to make this pipe weld. I was telling Kayla, I think some of the reasons that I fell in love with pipeline welding, to kind of keep it short here, is because of the standards. And what I mean by that is, to get on a pipeline job, you have to pass a test for starters, and then you have to essentially pass the test every time you make a weld on that job. It has to pass x-ray. So for the longest time, whenever I started welding, I knew I wanted to work for myself, which was why I wanted to work out of my own truck. I liked working on the job, but even doing that type of stuff, I still didn't feel needed or important, and pipeline welding gave me that sense of like, you're needed, you know, you need to pass a test and it needs to pass x-ray. So it gave me more of like a purpose. Not only that, but once I started pipeline welding and the longer I'd done it, I found comfort or a feeling of organization and order in being a pipeline welder. Some things that I mean by that, to try to describe this the best I can, is it felt good that I was hired just to do that part of the process of pipeline. You know, a pipeline is there's tons of different crews and there's tons of different things that gotta happen to be able to get a pipeline in the ground. And as a welder, you're hired to do the welding, so you can focus on just that niche, if you will. You can put all your effort and your time and your truck, you can build your truck to just do that. Like, it was just very simplified in my head being a pipeline welder. So I liked the fact that I could just focus on welding, but also like what I mean by order is when it comes to making a pipe weld, it's the same concept, it's the same thing, but just in a different location essentially every time, like on a different piece of pipe, on a, maybe a different place on the right of way, or if you're doing fabrication, like I said, it'd be on just a separate weld, but the concept is the same. You put bevels on if it doesn't have bevels, or you prep the bevels if they're factory bevels. You make your fit, you put your first pass in, you put your second pass in, your third pass, so on and so forth, and it's just very orderly, and there's pride taken in every pass. So I think that's one of the reasons that I liked pipeline welding, is because of the orderly fashion, I guess, is the best way I know how to describe it. So all that to say, my advice for this week is follow your passion, and hear me when I say this, know how important it is to follow your passion. Try your best to not focus on the pay of that passion. Try to focus on what you enjoy doing most and feed that passion. It's screaming from the inside of you saying, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm passionate about. So pay attention to that passion, or that that urge, or that burning inside of you, whatever it is that you want to do. Pay attention to it, feed it, and focus on that, because that's how you're going to reach your full potential, in my opinion. So follow your passion, do what you love. In my opinion, life's too short to do it any other way. You might be asking, Austin, why don't you go on a pipeline job if you're so passionate about pipe welding? That's a great question. If you've been following along, a few videos back or a few months ago, I talked about potentially going on a pipeline job before the end of this year because of retirement and whatnot. Obviously, that's not going to happen. It's not really in the cards for us right now with everything we have going on, to make a long story short. But I do get to scratch that itch just by having some pipe laying around right here. So that's why I'm not going on a pipeline job to fuel that passion, like I just got through talking about, that I suggest that you do, because I can fuel it in other ways. I fuel it by sharing what I share here online. Like, you are the reason why I'm able to stay home and still feel fulfilled in what we're doing as a whole. Pipeline welding is one of the reasons why this channel is where it is. That's kind of where it stemmed from. We started sharing about pipeline welding. We made education about pipeline welding and the pipeline lifestyle, and that got us to where we are today. So I'm not gonna just quit what I'm doing here just so I can go weld on a pipeline. Like, I don't necessarily need to weld on a pipeline. Just like I said, just making that 8-inch weld, done a lot more than, it's cheesy. It seems super cheesy to even talk about, but I have thought sometimes, like, man, you should get up at 6 o'clock every day and just make one weld every morning, just to feel fulfilled in that pipe welding process. So that's why I'm not going to go on a pipeline just right away to scratch any sort of itch or whatever, because we have other obligations. Kayla and I have bigger goals, and we're working on them, and we're thankful for all of your support, because you're part of the reason why we've gotten to where we're at today. And so, yeah, that's that. I could go on in all kinds of depth, but all that to say, do what you love. Go check out arosswelding.com/shop. Don't forget to check out the pipe fence course, or the pipe fence course bundles if you're interested in the pipe fence course or any other products that we have on the Aross Welding store. If you have any questions about the store or anything I've talked about in this video, you can text 405-643-7176, and we will shoot you a text right back with the best of answers as we can come up with whatever it is you ask about. So thank you for all your support, and remember, learn something every day.